Help me reach 7,000 subscribers. Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. She threw a casual tone over her shoulder while zipping the gray carry-on. Don't wait up. Late client dinner after the flight. Chicago's a mess this week. I watched her fold a sundress the color of orange soda. Chicago in February in a sundress. Nice. She caught my look and didn't blink. It's for the hotel spa, she added. Sauna, you know. Sure, I replied, leaning on the doorframe. Wind off the lake. Perfect weather for citrus. If I'd seen the whole map then, I would have moved faster. But you learn how to read a person step by step. She checked her watch, kissed the air near my cheek instead of me, and rolled the suitcase down the hall. The wheels clicked like a metronome, counting down to something I hadn't named yet. The next morning I made coffee and opened our spending app. I manage numbers for a living. I noticed patterns. Her corporate card had a cluster of charges that didn't match the travel calendar she sent me last week. Resort parking, a salon with palm trees in their logo, 2 identical seafood spots 3 weekends in a row. Not illegal, just curated. I scrolled back 2 months. Same rhythm. Summit, in Denver with a sun hat in the hamper. Retreat, in Philadelphia with beach sand in the dryer filter. On my end, groceries, utilities, a tune-up, and a dental bill for both of us. Balanced household, if you ignore gravity. At lunch I slid the app across the island toward her. Random question, I told her, keeping my voice neutral. Your firm's parking receipts. Why do they all say valet? Company cars don't hit valet. She didn't look. Their system prints valet by default. Everyone knows that. Everyone, I nodded. And the spa charges? Client hospitality, she said, pouring coffee into a to-go cup. You don't get how it works? Educate me. She tightened the lid. Mark, please. I'm already late. You always are, I said. One more. Why did you unshare your calendar? Because you critique it. She lifted her bag. It's work. Stop micromanaging. I don't micromanage adults, I answered. I track patterns. They tell their own story. Are we doing this now? She forced a smile. You promised you'd be supportive. I am. I'm supporting data. Her smile cooled by 10 degrees. I'll be home Sunday. Don't wait up. That I can promise. She left. I stood in the kitchen, listened to the quiet tick of the thermostat, and made 2 decisions. First, no more blind sponsorship. House bills stay covered. Anything beyond that splits. Not a punishment, a boundary. Second, I'd stop volunteering for husband as assistant duties. No more airport shuttles at 5 a.m. No last-minute dry cleaning runs. No can you add miles to my account requests. She could handle her logistics. If the dynamic was going to be transactional, I'd keep the ledger straight. That night, I texted a friend, Rick, who runs a body shop and knows where to buy anything that keeps machines honest. He had what I needed in a drawer under the register. A tiny GPS tag, legal to own, designed to track luggage. He waggled his eyebrows. You going hunting or fishing? Inventory control, I said. He laughed. Same thing with better shoes. By Thursday, she was in a good mood, which in our house meant she was on script. She tossed me a line while scrolling her phone at the counter. We should do brunch next weekend. That new rooftop in Midtown. Can't, I replied, cutting limes. Taking a Saturday drive with Rick. He wants my help picking up a used lift. She glanced up. Since when do you do Saturday drives? Since I stopped doing Saturday errands alone while you host clients. Wow, she said. Passive-aggressive much? Not passive, I answered. Pretty clear. Her mouth thinned. Then she switched lanes like a pro. Look, I know I've been distant, she said softer. It's been heavy at work. I shouldn't snap at you. Chicago will be quick. I'll bring back that deep dish you like. There it was, the first olive branch since December. It looked hand-carved and smelled like strategy. I rinsed the knife. Appreciate the thought. She stepped close, resting her chin on my shoulder in a way that used to be automatic. I booked a couple's massage for the weekend after I'm back. My treat. And yet, I said, nodding toward the carry-on by the door, you packed the new swimsuit. Her hand slid away. There's a hotel pool. In Chicago, I said, not moving. She rolled her eyes. Indoor. Mark, really? I shrugged. Enjoy the pool. When she went to shower, I opened her carry-on to tuck in a spare phone charger in case she forgot. The tag slipped into a side pocket under the lining. Less Hollywood than it sounds. A practical step. If you're going to hear the story, you might as well listen for the actual words. That night, she left for a late meeting with a partner flying in early. I set a reminder on my phone, tag check. She came back at 10, kissed the air by my face again, and fell asleep sideways, guarding her phone like a passport. I stared at the ceiling fan and cataloged tiny acts of distance. You can't fix what someone's actively dismantling. Friday morning, she rolled out with a blazer over a thin tee and sunglasses you'd wear somewhere brighter than O'Hare. I made no comment. I drove to the shop and helped Rick pull a bumper off a truck. Then I checked the tag app. ATL, then ORD, just like she told me. 6 hours later, I was at my desk, finalizing a report, when the dot pinged in the middle of downtown Miami, Collins Avenue. 10 minutes after that, my screen lit. Her. Flights delayed in Chicago. Unreal. Might be a late arrival. Don't wait up. I stared at the message, then at the dot over a strip of hotels a block from the beach. Not a wrong gate, not a diverted flight. Miami. Collins. I sent exactly 2 words. Me, noted. A beat. 3 dots. Disappear. I closed my laptop, walked out to my truck, and sat there for a minute, hearing the cooling tick of the engine. The tag stayed put, like a pin through a butterfly. I didn't need a scene. I needed confirmation and a plan. I called Tony. He used to do security for a chain of hotels, now does private work. The man talks in invoices, not adjectives. Miami, he said. The Strip? The tag says Collins, I told him. She's in a blue blazer, shoulder-length hair, small rolling bag. She's registered under her corporate email, most trips. Okay, he replied. Text me her photo. I'll have eyes by morning. I'll bill travel at my standard. Bill me double if you're fast. You're already my favorite client. Saturday at Rick's, we put coffee in paper cups and pretended to talk about carburetors. He knew why I wasn't speaking. You don't narrate a house fire while it's burning. You going to drive down there? He finally asked. No, I said. I'm going to set the table here. What do you need? A couple of hours and your laptop. He slid it over. We hopped into her firm's public page. Nothing shady, just bios and press releases. I compiled a neat PDF of her client hospitality notes from our joint app, lined up by date with that spa logo, then saved a draft email in a clean burner account with the subject compliance concern, travel hospitality. I didn't hit send. Not yet. You don't push every domino at once. You place them so they fall the right way. By noon, my phone buzzed. Tony. Got her, he said. Collins and 21st. She's at a hotel with bright umbrellas. Registered under her full name. She's not alone. My throat didn't close. Good to know your wiring still works. Names, I requested. Her companion checked in separately yesterday. Brian Lawson. Looks mid-40s, Jim serious, smile for the camera type. Their rooms are on the same floor, but not adjoining. That's for show. I have them leaving the elevator together twice. Breakfast on the terrace, then beach chairs, then a dinner reservation tonight under his name for 2. Photos are clean. No guesswork. Send them, I said. You want me to approach? Absolutely not. You got it. Photos landed. There she was, sunglasses and sundress, laughing at a joke the universe had already heard. There he was, all confidence and white teeth. The terrace umbrella cast a slice of shade across both of them. Ordinary. That's the part that settled it. Not shock. Not some scandal in neon. Just a steady, bland parallel life funded by my patients and her firm's hospitality budget. I slid the phone back into my pocket and finished what I started. First move, money. I shifted our shared savings into 2 buckets, household and personal, with my salary covering the non-negotiables and everything else paused. Her personal card auto-pay? Off. Corporate perks in our joint calendar? Deleted from my view. I sent her a 1-line text. Me. Household essentials continue. Personal spending is yours. No reply. Second move, access. I changed the garage code and gated her key fob to guest access hours. She could come and go. She couldn't treat our house like a storage locker between sunsets. Third move, documentation. I packaged Tony's photos, the hospitality PDF, and a short note describing date overlaps and merchant names. It was factual, dry, and traceable to nobody. I addressed it to 2 senior partners in her firm listed in leadership and to a compliance inbox they publish at the bottom of the page. I read it twice, removed any adjectives, and pressed send. Rick let out a low whistle when I told him. Cold, he said. Accurate, I answered. They can sort their own garden. He nodded. What are you going to say to her? I'm going to ask about Chicago, I said. And then I'm going to give her distance she's already living. Rick looked at me for a long second. You need a place to crash? I sleep fine in my own bed, I replied. At least until this weekend is over. You want me around when she gets home? No, but keep your phone on. Always. She texted me at 2 in the morning, stuck on tarmac. Unreal. Don't wait up. The dot on the map remained on Collins. The next ping showed it creeping to the airport around 6, which meant she had an actual morning flight. Neat trick, like erasing the first half of a story and calling it revision. At 9, she wheeled her bag through the front door and put on her, I'm exhausted but composed expression. I was at the dining table with the paper. How's Chicago? I asked. She dropped her bag, blinking. Cold. Miserable. Delays forever. Yeah, I said, folding the page. Miami's warmer. The sound in the room shifted. She laughed once, just for show. Excuse me. Collins Avenue, I continued. Great coffee down there. Love the umbrellas. She stood there, calculating. Not confessing, not apologizing. Calculating angles. You're being weird, she said. Probably, I answered. It's been weird watching someone aim for a glossy life with my gas card. There it is, she snapped. You hate my work. You hate that I'm doing well. I love households where the math adds up, I said. Right now it doesn't. So we're changing the numbers. What numbers? Household is covered. Personal is yours. Codes are updated. If you have questions, ask them now. If you want to pack some things for the guest room, I already put fresh sheets. Her mouth twitched. You're kicking me out of my house. I'm not kicking anyone. I'm housing us both like adults who need space to make decisions with clear heads. She looked at the staircase, then back at me. You can't control me. I'm not trying to, I told her. I'm just done hosting 2 versions of you. She grabbed the handle of the carry-on. You're overreacting. Probably under, if we're honest. Her phone chimed on the console. She glanced at it, then silenced it. I let her stew for a minute, then stood up. By the way, I added casual. If your firm calls about travel hospitality, direct them to compliance. They're efficient. Her face drained. What did you do? I sent them receipts they paid for. They can decide whether that aligns with their policy. You're trying to ruin me, she whispered. I'm trying to stop sponsoring theater. She took a step toward me, softening like a sales pitch. Mark, please. Let's not nuke everything. I will explain. I'll cancel Miami. I'll focus here. We can fix it. I raised an eyebrow. You sent me a text from Chicago while drinking coffee on Collins Avenue. That wasn't an accident. That was a posture. She moved closer and placed a hand on my arm. I'm sorry. I've been chasing something dumb. It's been a phase. Don't lock me out. I'll make it right. First illusion was a gentle apology before the trip. This one came with a trembling voice and a hand on my sleeve. If there's one thing I respect, it's consistent technique. I nodded, not unkind. The guest room's ready, I said. Use it. Get some sleep. We'll keep the calendar civil. I've got a full week ahead. She swallowed whatever speech she'd prepared and lugged the bag upstairs. 10 minutes later, the house alarm chimed with a code attempt. Twice. Then my phone rang. What did you do to the garage? She demanded. Gave it polite hours, I replied. You're inside now. You'll be fine. Unbelievable, she hissed. You can't. I just did. I went to the porch and watered the small row of plants our neighbor Sandra is forever trying to rescue. She waved from her driveway. She likes to supervise our street like it's a small city. You two okay? She asked, not nosy, just present. We're taking a breather, I said. Breathers are good, she nodded. Better than break things. Agreed. Back inside, my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I picked up. Is this Mark? A male voice asked. Speaking. This is Ethan from the leadership team at Lawson & Briggs, he said. We received a compliance packet today regarding Ms. Hall's travel. We're conducting a review. I'm not asking you anything, but I wanted to let you know we'll be in touch with her. Understood, I said. We value integrity, he added, as if reading from a card. Good policy. I hung up. 2 minutes later, she came down in a robe, hair wet, face arranged into kindness. Can we sit? She asked. We're standing fine. Please, sit, she repeated, softer. I sat. She perched across from me. I was wrong, she began. About the traveling so much. About not looping you in. I've been trying to feel like I've made it. That I'm not stuck in routines. The trips help me breathe. I should have told you. I'll adjust. I'll build us in, not around. Let me prove it. Give me a month. No more, whatever you think this is. I'll be home. I'll be a partner to you. The script was clean. If I were grading persuasion for a living, I'd give her an A-. I poured water into a glass and slid it toward her. Drink, I said. You'll need it if your firm calls today. She looked down. The robe belt trembled in her fingers, not dramatically, just with effort. The phone on the table lit up. She flipped it over. Who is Brian Lawson? I asked. Her eyes snapped up. Why would you ask that? The hotel had a reservation under his name. I answered. Seems friendly. He's an old colleague, she replied quickly. He's harmless. He's also connected. He introduces me to people. People under umbrellas, I said. That got a flinch. I'm done playing, I told her. You want glossy weekends. Book them with your own money and your own name. You want a home. Respect the person paying for the roof. Choose. She stared at me not like a husband, but like a deal that got complicated. Then she stood, as if that solved anything. I'm taking a nap, she said. We'll talk tonight. Sleep well. When she went upstairs, I pulled 3 boxes from the garage, labeled them with a thick marker: closet, bath, desk. I set them outside the guest room. It wasn't punishment. It was a gentle reminder that choices take space, and space has to come from somewhere. By evening, she was civil again. We ate in silence at opposite ends of the table. She cleared the dishes like a domestic peace treaty. Thank you, I told her. Dishwasher's running. I'm heading out early tomorrow. With Rick? She asked. With myself? I replied. I like my own company. At 9, we both got the email from her firm. We need to schedule a discussion regarding recent travel entries. She stopped breathing for a second. Then the performative calm returned. It's a misunderstanding, she announced to the room. Then you'll enjoy clarifying it. She went to the guest room without another word. The door clicked. That was probably the last quiet moment we shared in that house. Morning brought the rest. At 10 sharp, her phone started vibrating in a steady rhythm. She took 2 calls in the hallway. Voices rose, fell, reheated. She came into the kitchen with a pasted-on smile. They want me to take a week off while they check some reports, she said. That's thoughtful, I answered. You could use a rest. Stop, she snapped. This is not funny. I'm not laughing. She paced, then stopped like she'd just remembered humility. I think I've been selfish, she said, voice low. I lost the plot. I'm going to fix it. I'll shut down all travel for a while. Delete the extras. Focus on us. I'll start dinner early today. Your favorite. We'll sit. We'll talk. We'll plan the spring. Just call the firm back. Tell them we're fine. I didn't call your firm, I told her. I sent receipts. They aren't the same thing. Semantics, she said. Boundaries, I corrected. She tried a different angle. She walked over, wrapped her arms around my neck, and pressed her forehead to mine. We're better than this, she whispered. I'm better than this. Let me show you. Second illusion. No tremble, no robe, just warmth turned up past safe. I placed my hands on her wrists and set them down gently. I heard you, I replied. I'm still living in reality. She straightened, pulled her robe tighter as if she remembered modesty, then blew out a breath. Okay, she said, calm gone flat. Then I'll be practical. If you insist on this separation nonsense, I need a list of bills you'll keep covering. And I want access to the car this week. I have errands. House, utilities, insurance, I replied. Food is split. Gas is split. Use the spare car. Your fob works during daylight hours. She scoffed. You love control. I love clarity. Oh, and by the way, she added casually, fingers on the counter. Saturday is Mia's birthday. We promised to go. I'm not going, I answered. You can deliver a gift from both of us. She'll ask where you are. You can tell her I'm done showing up out of habit. She folded her arms, searching for leverage. Then the doorbell rang. Sandra's knock. 2 quick taps, 1 slow. I opened the door. You 2 need anything? Sandra asked. I made banana bread. Don't judge the shape. We're good, I said. Thanks, Sandra. Helen stepped behind me, smile pasted on. Hi, Sandra, she sang. We're great. Just tired. Sandra's eyes flicked from her to me. She isn't stupid. Well, she said, holding the bread like a referee's flag. If yelling starts, take it outside. We've got new windows. No yelling, I replied. Good. I like you both with inside voices. She handed me the pan and left. Helen closed the door and turned. You're turning the whole neighborhood into an audience. They have eyes, I said. So do I. She stood there a second longer, then reached for her phone. I'm making dinner, she said. Real dinner. 7. Be here. I'll be here, I agreed. And if your firm asks for your laptop, give it to them. Her head jerked up. How would you know? I read the same internet as everyone else. You're not helpful. Correct. At 6:30 the house smelled like effort. She set the table, lit a candle, put on music low enough to be thoughtful. When I sat, she reached for my hand. I messed up, she began. I needed to feel seen. Brian is a piece of my past that made me feel shiny. That's over now. Sit with me. Let me reset. We can rebuild this. While you keep your job? I asked. I'll do whatever they ask, she said. I'll pay back any out-of-bounds charges. I'll apologize to the partners. I will cut people off. Good, I said. Now we're in the same neighborhood. We ate. The food was solid. Midway through, her phone lit again. She reached to silence it, then hesitated when she saw the name. You should take that, I said. She did. Put it on speaker by mistake. A woman's voice filled the room. Helen, we've temporarily deactivated your card while we reconcile the last 2 months. Bring your laptop tomorrow. We'll need to mirror your travel emails. HR wants a quick chat. She lurched for the volume. Too late. She hung up and exhaled like the room had dropped pressure. This is humiliating, she said. Integrity usually feels like that for a minute, I answered. You don't have to enjoy it, she snapped. I'm not enjoying it. I'm not stopping it either. She pushed her plate away. So what now? You put me in the guest room. You tell my bosses. You police the garage. Anything else you want to control? Just my life, I replied, which currently includes not being lied to about geography. Her eyes flashed. If you walk away now, that's on you. No, I said, standing. You walked first. I'm just using the door like a gentleman. She flinched at the word, then squared her shoulders. You can't make it without me, she threw, last card face up. I smiled small. Watch me. Monday morning I dressed for work and put a small stack of envelopes on the hall table. One with a list of covered bills and dates, one with the new garage hours and codes, one with a polite note about movers scheduled for Friday to bring her extra clothes to a storage unit I rented 2 blocks away. No drama. Logistics. She came down in a blazer, hair pulled tight, trying for competent under pressure. She looked at the envelopes, then at me. What is this? Clarity, I said. Guest room for the short term. Storage unit by the end of the week. Keys are on top. She flicked through the papers. You already booked movers? Yes. You didn't ask. I'm not asking to sleep in my own peace. She closed her eyes, then opened them, aiming the gaze she uses on junior associates. We could still fix it, she tried. We could call this a bad month. We could, I agreed. We won't. Her phone chimed again. She stepped out to take it. Sandra, who apparently waters her plants at any hour, strolled by and gave me a look. Need anything? She asked. I'm good. You look like you're about to do something that'll make peace later, she said. Do it clean. That's the plan. At 9 I stopped by her office building with a paper bag containing the car charger she kept accusing me of stealing every other week. The lobby guard knows me. Morning, Mark, he said. She's up there. Not here for a visit, I answered. Just dropping something. Helen stepped off the elevator with 2 partners flanking her. She saw me and jolted like I'd been waiting to make a scene. I wasn't. I handed her the bag. Your charger, I said. Figured you'd need it today. One partner, a woman with steel in her posture, gave me a professional nod. The other looked somewhere safer than my face. I'll call you later, Helen announced to the group, like she had a bright plan waiting at home. You won't need to, I answered. Everything you'll need from the house is in the guest room or the storage unit by Friday. Instructions are on the table. The woman partner caught that and flicked her eyes to Helen. Small, efficient warning. The elevator dinged. They stepped in without waiting. Helen didn't look back. The door slid shut. I stood in the lobby a second, then turned and walked out into the ordinary street with ordinary sun. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt finished. That's better. On the way home, I stopped at Rick's. He had a sandwich and grease under his nails and a grin that said he'd been waiting for the recap. Well, he asked. I delivered a charger, I said. He laughed. Deadliest gift. I need your truck Friday, I told him. You got it. You want me there when she throws plates. She won't throw plates, I replied. She'll rebrand. He barked a laugh. You're mean. I'm accurate. Back at the house, I packed the rest of her out-of-season clothes into neat bins. No theatrics. When she got home that night, I was in the garage labeling the last one. She strode in, cheeks streaked like she'd practiced crying in a bathroom. You made a mess, she said. With work. With everything. Work called me. I replied. I called math. They're benching me while they review, she said. Brian's pretending he barely knows me. Of course he is. She stared at me, grasping for pity the way you grab for a railing. I didn't offer any. Pity is a leash, and she'd use it. I don't have anywhere to go if you put my stuff in storage, she tried. You have plenty of friends and plenty of options, I answered. You wanted independence. This is what it looks like when it's not funded by a spouse. She shook her head slowly, as if I'd disappointed her by refusing to be predictable. You'll regret this, she said. No, I answered. You will. I'm done underwriting a brand. She looked around the garage like a stranger, then walked inside without another word. I finished labeling, slid the bins into place, and wrote the storage unit number on an index card. On the way to the door, I flicked off the light. Some days that's as grand as it needs to be. Friday came fast. Rick backed his truck into the driveway and hopped out with a roll of straps. You sure? He asked. Positive. We loaded the boxes. Helen came out halfway through, arms crossed, wearing sunglasses though the porch was shaded. Sandra drifted over, because of course she did, holding another loaf of banana bread as if carbs were neutral in all wars. You folks need help? Sandra asked. Got it, I said. Helen aimed for one last public jab. He's putting my things in storage like I'm a tenant. You said you needed space, I replied. I'm honoring that. Sandra looked between us. She isn't a referee, but she's an honest audience. Helen, she said, gentle but firm. You've been out a lot. Sometimes space goes both ways. Helen's jaw worked. She turned and went back inside. Rick hoisted the last bin. Where to? 2 blocks over, I said. We drove, unloaded, locked the unit. I set the key on the kitchen table with the index card. When she came down later, I was sitting with a cup of tea and a contractor's invoice for a locksmith to rekey the side door on Monday. What now? She asked, exhausted. Now we live the truth, I said. We share a roof for a few days while you arrange your next place. We keep it civil. We don't pretend. You won't even try counseling? I'm not paying someone to referee lies about airport codes. She looked at me, eyes hard, then passed me at the wall like it might answer for me. Finally, she nodded once, crisp. Fine. She grabbed the key and left. The door clicked. The house exhaled. That was the last time I heard her move around like she belonged there. The final conversation happened on a Sunday morning a week later. She came by with a friend I didn't recognize, a tidy woman in a linen jacket who looked like she organizes other people's chaos for a living. They boxed the last of Helen's shoes. We stood in the hall. No theater left to play. I'll send you money for half the last grocery run, Helen said, as if that were the missing piece. No need, I replied. Put it toward your new place. She adjusted the strap on her bag. You know, you could have been kinder. I answered. Kind would have been pretending I didn't see. I gave you the courtesy of reality. She studied my face for a flicker of doubt. I didn't offer one. I opened the door. She stepped onto the porch and paused. What's your line going to be when people ask what happened? She asked. That I don't live in 2 stories at once, I said. And that I don't do pretend. She laughed without humor. You'll be alone. Not for long, I told her. I'm good company. She took a breath like she wanted to say something sharper, then thought better of it. She walked to the car without looking back. The friend waved politely. The car pulled away. I stood there, not sad, not angry. Just finished. I closed the door and went to the sink. There were 2 mugs in it. I washed one and put it on the shelf. The other went into a box for donation. It wasn't symbolic. It was inventory. 3 months later, I moved into a smaller place closer to the river, with a garage tall enough for a kayak. Rick and I installed a lift anyway because he can't help himself. I drive a clean used truck that starts the first time, every time. There's a woman I see on Saturdays named Claire who owns a dog that looks like a judge. She asks real questions and doesn't treat weekends like a stage. My circle got smaller and sharper. Dinners with friends, quiet mornings, a calendar that doesn't come with excuses. I sleep well. Word got around, as it does. A friend of a friend mentioned that Helen's firm kept her on the sidelines longer than she expected. The glossy trip stopped. The photos on her feed shifted from rooftops to throwback quotes. Brian's name didn't appear again. That's not my problem. That's the tab. Sometimes Sandra texts a picture of my front lawn because she still polices the block from 2 miles away. She ends every message with peace, like it's a question and an answer. I send back a photo of the dog or the truck and write peace. It's not complicated. If you're waiting for the part where I wavered and pulled her back from the storage unit, you'll wait a long time. I don't hate her. I don't hate the man with white teeth and timed laughs. They're both chasing something I stopped funding. That's all. People think strength looks like volume. It doesn't. It looks like a set of clean decisions made once and followed through. The last real words I gave her were at the door that Sunday. She stood there, unsure if I'd soften or posture or ask her to reconsider a version of us I hadn't respected in months. I didn't. I held the door, and I told her exactly what I live by now. I don't do pretend, I said. Keep the costume. Then I closed the door and